I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons,
Return of the Dragons, Dawn of the New
and
Age.
we've seen Rathian searching.
رسیان
for
مثلا
his
کی
father's
آرتشه
searching for
کیشه
Dragon Isles.
بله
There's a reason
رسیان
why
ما
he's
اینا
able
صحبت
to
کردیم
find them.
توش تو یوتیوبمون زیاد راجبش
Beacon going off. Is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also
10,000 سال پیش دراگون آیل مثلا قایم کرده بودن
in a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles. It's
Expansion
The Dragon
Azeroth.
Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion, consist of 5 zones,
5
4
zone
standard
داره؟
leveling zones, and a new starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
Oh
Can you
shit.
talk a little bit about how the team found ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental energy. As
Elemental
Azeroth
energy.
herself reawakens,
Azeroth داره بیدار میشه چت.
expressed
Yes.
throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy wastes of the Azure Span. And each one of those has a connection to a dragonflight that we've seen before.
هر کدوم وصل به یک اژدها مال یک تای دسته اژدها دراگون فلایت یعنی دسته اژدها
Okay, so
Can I be a dragon?
ما 5 تا دسته اژدها
Let's get into
داریم
some features here and what Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place. So first off, yes, we have an all-new playable race, the Drakthir race.
دراک ریس جدید
A dragon iconic race, but dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid form.
What classes can they be?
Have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That doesn't quite fit any of our existing classes. And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class.
کلاس
The
بس
race to World of Warcraft and
Class!
the race is something that we
Dragon!
don't see, but telling this expansion, this story, so focused around
New class,
dragons
new race!
felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class.
Evoker!
The Evokers,
Class
evokers
of-
can only be Drakthir. And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has. The
Oh,
ability
shit.
to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style strafing over the battlefield, land on the other
کلاس
side,
evokr
knock
نژاد
everyone back
دراکتیک
with a wing buffet,
دراکودیک
and
همچین
then
چیزی
unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
The Evoker has 2 specializations. They're a
دو تا اسپک داره هایبرید
range DPS,
Range DPS
and they
او
wear
هیله
mail armor. We figured, with the new hero
Melee,
classes we've
yes!
added over the years, we have enough melee. We don't need more of those.
فرشاد چطوری
I don't need any more.
پاک
more
واسه
of the
فرشاد
warriors.
بزنید
The raid leaders are going to love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class, and so that
No, it's
means
big on
that,
fashion.
like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58, and then they're going to have a new starter zone. So they're going to have a slightly different journey into the Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to identify
یس همه چی که تو لیگ در اومده بود
Basically
درسته
anything and everything. Skin color, hair color,
Oh,
jewelry,
shit!
tattoos, other
چقدر
adornments. You can make
خفنن
your
چه؟
character the expression of your identity in Azeroth.
New zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates or features.
Of course, the new expansion brings with it, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind as we moved
بله
on.
میگه فیچرهایی می آوردیم که هر اکسپنشن تموم میشد دیگه خداحافظ
It's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your
که
character
یک
behind.
مثلا
or
یه
leaving a
چیزو
large part
بذار
of
مثلا
your
آرتفکت
progression.
پن مال لیجن بود
So
تموم
this
شد
time
رفت
around, what we're doing is really pouring all of our energy into
دیزاین جدید
permanent
come on
revamps, overhauls, and improvements.
yes اوردر هال دوباره برگشت
Things like our progression systems, in this case our talent system, is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI.
UI عوض کردن
Professions.
پروفشن عوض کردن
And the
come on
UI
بلیزارد
classes. Did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscored some of the things that
Talent
frankly,
عوض
we
کردن؟
lost when we shifted
What
to
the
the
fuck؟
midst of
مغزم داره
various
می‌گوزه.
talents and beyond. A big piece of that was some of just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character to make yourself a bit better in some specific way.
تمام اینا رو ما میدونستیم چون لیکاش خونده بودیم توی استریم تو این یه ماه اخیر
That's something that we've largely lost.
حدس
And so the
می‌زنیم.
new talent system
New talent
avoids
system.
directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against those sort of utility hybrid choices.
دوباره برگشتیم به قدیم. به به بابا
that there's a lot of strength in
Everybody, welcome back to World of Warcraft.
Customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
So John, UI?
Oh my God.
UI, design جدید interface, user interface.
Trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going
ببینیم
on.
دیزاین جدیدش چجوریه؟
It has literally made my eyes go like this. So
می چشات میترکید انقدر UI بد بود.
Incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp. This is an overhaul.
This is revamp.
And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. Now at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want a much better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
and can I reduce elements, remove elements if I want to explore the world?
Oh shit, WoW این شکلی شده؟
Azeroth.
When it comes to
Oh shit, WoW این شکلی
we
کردن.
want to let players choose what to show and what to hide so that they can control it themselves.
You mentioned professions. I have a critical question about this.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
Yeah, I knew it.
چوباری آوردن؟
Our approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter.
Okay.
And so if you want to be
What?
a serious
No, no,
blacksmith,
couldn't.
if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability
ورکا جدید شد
to
کل ورکاش.
invest time and energy into that. Become a
دوستان فارمر لذت ببرید. نیو جاب، نیو ورک، کل بابا رو عوض کردن.
One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more
نگاه
convenience
کن
than just
دیگه.
spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats.
Work order داریم دیگه لازم نیست ورک ترین کنیم.
A blacksmith can come along and make you the weapon of your
مثل که همه ورکا رو همزمان
I think
بتونیم
that
داشته
went
باشیم.
through,
بکنم همچین
Be a
چیزیه.
dragon
واسه توضیح
here,
میدن.
better Dragon Isles. Can I have a dragon?
What's the fantasy of dragons if not soaring over the lands?
Woo!
I'm really excited to introduce a feature on dragon riding. It's dynamic with everything from momentum to dive bombs, the ability to just
دایو میکنیم چند نها کنید مود جدید آجی نها کنید پشمام
than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount.
کاستومایز میکنیم مانتو yes.
This is a skill you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade
Dragon rider
of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the dragon companion that you have
Dragon
is
companion
very thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for
کاستومایز
us for
میکنیم
mounts.
مانتا رو میتونیم کاستومایز کنیم
A generic dragon that everyone has, but a
dragon های جدیدن
yours. What do you want its scales to look like? Horns, the shape
دوست داری
of
که
its
مدلش
head,
هر جوری که بخوای
attachments,
باشه
armor pieces and more.
آرمورش قیافش
This is
رنگش
so cool.
So yes, the Dragonflight expansion is going to see players leveling to 70, going to the all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for our Drakthir class, as well as a range
استارت
of
زون برای
systems we have,
نژاد
such as
دراکتیر
a
دارم
new
داریم
talent system,
New
an
talent
overhaul and
system.
update to our UI,
Over-
and an entirely fresh
اوردر
look at
کلاس اوردر هال هم
professions
آوردن
with more depth
کل
than ever before.
ورکان مثل که همه
Also
رو
getting around
ریورک
Dragon
کردن
Isles is going to come in the form
کلاس
of
جدید هم
Dragon
آوردن
riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that
چقدر
you can
خفنه.
fly in a sense from the start. And of course, as with any new expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out
Alpha.
our website for more information and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so
Oh, deep dive هم دارن.
stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're going to go next.
Wrath of the
One
Lich King
all-time
classic.
favorite expansions for World of Warcraft. Let's watch the cinematic.
Wrath of the Lich King classic demand justice
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name Arthas. When my days have come to an end, you shall be
king.
king.
For the king! The classic adventure continues. Yes!
It's just incredible, isn't it? Every time
It
I
is.
see the cinematic, I get chills. No pun intended, I get chills. As you saw, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is coming this year. It brings back so many memories. When you see that cinematic, what do you remember from Wrath of the Lich King?
Anytime you want to talk about undead frozen
Deep dive
dragons,
هم مونده
can
هنوز.
you not go back to Sindragosa as the source? That was the first expansion I played with my youngest son. So I can remember on that platform, black goo and chunks of ice falling off and having to repeat that battle with the Lich King, but we
دوستان
finally
عزیز،
down him.
فارمرهای عزیز، درویدهای پوسکن عزیز، میتونید بیاین کلاسیک Wrath of the Lich King بازی کنید. اسپانسر ما کو؟ علامت تعجب شاب بزنید، اسپانسر ماست. اگه هم دوست دارید سرور فری بازی کنید میتونید بزنید علامت تعجب بغضون. اسپانسر ما کوش؟ محمد اگه توی لایوی اکسپنشن دراگون فلایت رو برای من تو دیسکورد بفرست لطفا، من یوزش کنم همین الان. پریپرچش کنم. پریپرچش هم فکر کنم الان تو سایت میاد.
There are so many zones and areas to explore in Northrend, and I want us to talk about some of our favorites. So for me, Grizzly Hills has a very special place in my heart.
Yes!
The music was some of the best I've experienced in
خیلی خفنه.
I still make my way all the way up to Storm Peaks to try and find the time-lost proto-drake and have yet to get it.
I've got to say Dragonflight. The wide open nature of the zone, Wormrest Temple in the center of it, it's an unforgettable expansion as both a developer and a player, and kind of making that transition from one to the other.
Now let's talk about some changes. So one thing we looked at is Dungeon Finder, and it feels like how we envision Classic. Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for our community.
That was kind of the first step that may have eroded.
مرسی مستر بهزاد با 200 دونیت. من گیف دونیت بستم، ببخشید سلطان. مرسی مستر. نوکرتم.
Not wanting necessarily a
Dungeon
random
Finder چیکار دارم میکنم تو
participant just to show up
کلاسیک؟
and then leave.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But today, you can do that in Shadowlands. You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight. It's a self-selected group of people who specifically want that different experience.
Yes.
Let's make sure that's what we continue to give them.
That leads right into arena teams in Burning Crusade Classic. So we listen to the community and we remove that because individual rating is preferable and a better experience for them than arena teams. Also, with Wrath of the Lich King, Barbershop, which allows you to customize your character. We're going to be adding a few more options that were not existing when Wrath launched. But also there's another side of this where we are not going to charge a real money fee. It was a paid character customization fee, right?
Yeah.
It seems the right thing to do that just be available in-game for gold, and we add more options to it, right?
Okay.
It's sort of like spell batching in a sense. There's a lot of technical advancements, and it's not about the philosophy of what makes classic classic and what brings people together.
Okay.
It's just what's the better experience, and let's not artificially restrict something that we can provide a better version of just for the sake of nostalgia. And we're happy to say this is one of those cases.
So, Wrath. The level cap's being increased to level 80, so we'll be introducing a level 70 boost so that players who want to get in with their friends or just explore Northrend right away will be able to do that. You can't apply it to a Death Knight, but you will be able to use it otherwise. And of course, we have Inscription, a whole new profession, so we're really excited about that. Yeah, and as we continue this road to Wrath, we're going to be looking to getting a lot more feedback on beta, and we'll make changes as we need to.
Such an exciting time to be playing World of Warcraft.
It is.
The return of the Wrath of the Lich King
for
classic fans and taking us somewhere new with Dragonflight
Deep dive کنید.
To be able to bring these adventures to you. Don't forget, there's a deep dive on Dragonflight where you're going to get a lot more information. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
And we'll see you in Northrend.
And in the Dragon Isles.
اوکی دیپ دایوش بریم دیپ دایوش ببینیم. هولی شت. Okay, deep dive at
Welcome
Dragonflight.
to the Dragonflight Deep Dive. I'm Steve Denuser.
And I'm Taryn Gregory. Starting it off here, we're going to talk about the story of Dragonflight.
We've got this great expansion, exciting pre-render trailer that everyone just watched. So let's talk about the setting for Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles.
Dragon Isles have been known for a long time in Warcraft history as a mysterious
بله
place
همیشه میدونستیم یه جای
where the
میستریوسه
dragons came from long
که دراگن
ago,
هست
and we
اونجا
never knew
اومدن
much
و
more than
نمیدونستیم
We're
چی
going to this
ازش
place
و
that
بالاخره
is
میریم
kind of the broodlands of all the Dragonflights, the place where they nested, where they built their civilization.
Okay.
The Dragon Isles
حکومتشون
was
اونجا اومد.
the center of the Dragon's kingdom when the
Ancient
world was
Azeroth.
young and the mortal races were
بله
just
بله
starting to form kingdoms of their
بعد از
own.
بلک امپایر
But when
قبل
the
نایت
Legion
اف امپایر
invaded
اوکی
for that War of the Ancients,
بله.
that sundering that resulted from the
Sundering,
explosion
okay.
of the Well of Eternity.
Literal sundering of the continents of Azeroth.
And because of the breaking of the world, that magic kind of drained away and the land went dormant. So they had to leave the Dragon Isles behind. And as we saw in the pre-render, they left behind some Titan Watchers to look over the land. And when someday they hoped that elemental energy would resurge once again and draw the dragons home and reestablish their kingdom.
And that's when the message goes out to the flights and they feel it in their bones.
Now it's the time for the sky to light up with the colors of the aspects once again, and for Alex Straza and the others to come home. But the land has changed a lot in all these thousands of years they've been away, and some very old threats have awakened as well.
We're looking into the culture of dragons as they exist in Warcraft.
Dragons as we know them today were very different in the early past, the early history of Azeroth. They were much more primitive, much more savage. We now know as proto-dragons.
And then some of the dragons were empowered to become the aspects. The green flight, red flight, blue flight.
بچه‌ها داستان کاتاکلیزم منو تو یوتیوب ببینید. در رابطه با اژدها هر چی می‌خواید بدونید برید داستان کاتاکلیزم منو ببینید تو یوتیوب.
Power appointed to defend Azeroth from threats within and without.
Dragons used that power both for good in the case of most of the aspects, but also for nefarious reasons in the case of the Black Dragonflight led by Neltharion who would become Deathwing.
And what we'll find in Dragonflight is that some of these ancient divisions run deep. And so it begs the question, where do we go from here? If this is an opportunity to reclaim their legacy, to be the protectors, as the cinematic mentioned, that they once were.
To do that, they're going to need the help of our heroes, our players, to come to the Dragon Isles and face some of these reawakening challenges, because it's not just that this land is peacefully waiting for the dragons to return and reclaim it. There's those old enemies that have awakened as well. One of those being a race of kind of elemental half-giants, the Jarden.
The Dragon Isles isn't just populated by dragons or just by the Jarden. There's also many other occupants here in the Dragon Isles. They've been here either just recently or for a while, including a favorite coming back, the Tuskar.
That's going to be awesome. We've got other cultures there as well in the Dragon Isles. We're going to find out about a civilization of centaurs that predates the ones that arose on Kalimdor later.
Finally.
And some of our favorite characters that we've seen over the last few expansions, such as Rathian.
And whether he's ready to step up into
to
a
lead
role, or
Black Dragonflight.
If there are other alternatives out there that would be better suited to the job of being the aspect of the Black Dragonflight.
I think one thing players are going to be really excited about this expansion is the new playable race, the
Draconic.
That's right.
This is something that Neltharion, before he was Deathwing, before he went full crazy world dragon, that he put into motion.
Neltharion saw those primalists that were kind of breaking away from the aspects and what they wanted. And so in those first experiments, he took the essence of dragons, their strength, their nobility, their wisdom.
Essence dragon رو گرفت و ترکیبش کرد
scrappiness, that adaptability that the mortal races had, and he wanted to use that to create the ideal soldier in his mind.
یه سرباز می‌خواست تو ذهن خودش بسازه.
Exploration is really one of the key themes of this expansion. We're going to be going to this ancient place that the dragons left behind long ago. So we've made these huge zones with all kinds of places to delve into and find little treasures and little secrets tucked away. It's going to be a lot of fun for players to be exploring these landscapes.
And there's so much architectural history and how clearly aspirational was the kingdom of the dragons and how it lost so much.
Kingdom of the dragons.
The themes of trying to return to that, to try to find your legacy. To try to figure out who you were before everything went awry.
کی بودن قبل از اینکه هر چیزی رخ بده 10,000 سال پیش.
Questions of What does it mean to be true to your legacy? Are we going to repeat the mistakes of the past?
The dragons have had to learn those lessons just like the mortal kingdoms have had to.
بله،
And
dragon
I
هم
think
باید
that's
یاد
one of the
بگیرن.
reasons why the dragons see this now as the time that they have to return and they
با
have to step up
برگردن.
once again as protectors of
دوباره
Azeroth. We're
محافظ
helping the
ازشون.
dragons
چرا؟
because the dragons have helped us in the past.
ما
too.
حالا
So
این سری
by
ما بهشون
using
کمک
the
میکنیم چون
explorers
قبلا اونا به ما
and the
کمک
reliquary
کردن.
together, that
این سری ما
allows
هستیم
us
که
to
بهشون
delve
کمک
into
میکنیم.
some of that history.
اونا
And when I
قدرتشون رو
look,
دادن دیگه
you know,
تو نسخه
upon the
کاتاکلیسم.
Dragon Isles and all of its visual splendor, I get so excited for the prospect of a truly Azerothian adventure alongside
Calagus!
along with Rathian Ebonhorn, with
Calagus
Ysera's daughter
outdid it.
Marithra, as each one of them
Yes,
is
her
trying
daughter
to find
Marithra.
their own flight. I am taken by the exploration and the potential for adventure and just new horizons within this world.
There's going to be old stories from that time
Old
past,
story,
that
okay.
history that only the dragons knew for the longest
داستانی
time.
که فقط
We're gonna be
دراگونا
able to
میدونستن.
explore that.
اونا هم
It
اکسپلور
really
میکنیم.
feels like just a breath of fresh air.
So now we're going to turn things
فضای
over to some
fresh
of our
داره.
colleagues who will take you on that deep dive into the locations and the features of Dragonflight.
Waking Shores. کوال!
Hello,
چی
I'm
بود؟
Stephanie.
نتونستم با
I'm
کوال
Josh.
تناس؟
I'm Jackie.
چی نوشته
I'm
بود؟
Gary.
And we're part of the teams that are building the first two zones that you'll encounter in the Dragon Isles, the
Oh,
Waking
mapa
Shore
رو میخواد
and the
بگه.
Inaran Plains.
مپا
The very first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores.
Waking Shore.
It's wild, untamed
Okay,
land.
این مپشه.
It's waking up around you too, and the
Okay,
elements are just going
خوشگله.
crazy.
Our team
Okay,
again
Waking
has
Shore.
hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the
کوهستان
beach,
لاوا داره.
giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up
Proto-dragon
members of
خیلی
your
گنده داره.
expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elementals rising up because of the crazy
Elements هم قیام کردن.
One of the things I love is just how you get to the
Elements
Dragon
عناصر.
Isles, right? So you're going to get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the first thing you do is sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other.
سازهای
You can jump
dragon-y
from one boat to
اجداییه.
the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
از
For
این
those who love
چی از این
PvP,
کشتی به اون
this is
کشتی
a
میپری؟
great opportunity for
از این قایق به
Warlord.
اون قایق؟
It's free for all out there. It's going to be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be in war mode anymore, you can just hop out right there.
اوه میگه تو وارماش اینجوری که از این قایق میتونیم بپریم که این قایق بجنگیم.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists, the settlers exploring this new land. So it's a lot more
میگه
optimistic
جنگی
tone.
نیست.
One of my favorite things
ساینتیست ها اومدن و خلاص
is the
اکسپلورر
Red
اومدن.
Dragonflight, led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder. They
Okay.
have the
مثل که
mandate
لباس پوشیدن
of
تنش.
nurturing
تن
and protecting
الکسترازا.
all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Alliance come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land and welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We
رد
have the
دراگون ها توی
ancestral home
ویکینگ
of the
شور.
Black Dragonflight there too.
خونه
which
Black
has
Dragon
been
ها.
a tough time since Deathwing's descent, and so Rathian's coming over to the Isles with
خونه
us.
Dragon ها
He's going to try
مشکی.
and come to terms with the state of the Dragonflight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jarden so much.
جاردن ها
They're
مثل که
half
اومدن.
giants that wield
نصف
power
جاینت تا
of
چند
magma.
خفنن.
And when the Waking
قدرت
Shores
ماگما رو
and the Dragon
دارن.
Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now and they are ready
حالا که
to
دراگون
raise
آیل
hell.
برگشته
Yeah, they're
اینا هم
massive. They're
برگشتن.
riding giant lava mammoths, parading around, just stomping on your face.
And they were the enemies of the Dragonfly for so long. They fought
وقتی
against the
دشمنه.
Red Dragonfly, hunted dragons down, and they're really taking this
دشمنش
opportunity
down.
to rise up. As the Red Dragonfly have the mandate of nurturing life, they don't want to just stomp out the Jarden completely, but they want to make sure that they don't have the power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore, but Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
We finally have those webbed feet hooligans in our game. We cracked the technology. We got them
Figure
in.
it out. They
Yep.
can fly.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
It's gonna be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores.
نفهمیدم.
It's so breathtaking.
اسم چیه؟
The Onaran Plains are
Onaran
big,
Plain.
wide open plains.
اسم
And the
مپش
player is going to be constricted a
Onaran
little
Plain.
bit, and then you
Plain.
see this big contrast of a zone. We don't always get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player can have a framed view when they see this area.
Come out and you got that postcard shot.
WTS اردک دوستان.
And then
کباب
this
اردک.
giant fire proto-dragon breathing fire and a herd of centaur like harpoon down the proto-dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto-dragon. Like how cool is that?
دیگه باید به سنتورا کمک کنیم.
Onara is the wild god of the wind. And
Okay,
she's
این
appeared
خدای
before as,
باده.
like this big spirit eagle. She's the one who
روحه.
guided the centaur to the
به
Dragon
سنتورا کمک
Islands many
کرده که
years
بیان
ago. She
سالهای
blessed
قبل
them, took their
به
caravan
اینجا.
across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the centaur.
The centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually they realized that we're strong, you're strong, maybe we should stop decimating each other's people. We'll make peace, we'll make an agreement. You guys hang out in the groves and the centaur will hang out in the plains. But now, the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here, and they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here. So if you want to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The centaur might rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those groves are absolutely
green dragon است. ایول.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plane, and we want to be creative with them. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in the vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not. The zones are so big and you can see so far, especially in Onaran Plains. So we talked to the engineers and we actually increased that distance.
میگه با مهندس صحبت کردیم که این دیستنس رو اضافه بکن که بتونیم تا اون تاو ببینید.
The interesting thing for me is we have all these conflicts with the Dragonflights. There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a story that's grounded in Azeroth and exploration. There's so much more to talk about. But now we're going to have some folks talking about the next two zones that players will experience.
خیلی چیزا هست که الان نمیتونیم بگیم ولی فعلا راجع به دو تا زون جدید بهتون بگم. ازور اسپن که مال آبیاس تالدارازوس.
Hello everyone, my name is Kate.
I'm Christy.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today about Valdrassus and the Azure Span. So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that players adventure through, and it's one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation.
My fucking new crash! This is crash جدیدم.
When we first were taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills.
گفتم شبیه Grizzly Hills. دقیقاً مثل اون ساختنش.
Wowify it more. And I don't know if you've ever been to the area, but in the morning,
حاجی والاک هستم. تولید کننده محتوا به قول فرشاد سایلنت خوبی.
That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest, and not only the redwoods, we've got.
میخوای سوارم شی بالر بیارم واسه؟ اجدهای کی بودی تو؟
That's just golden and red, and you'll reach up to another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone is covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers.
تو خونه خودم یه دراگون دارم رو پایی میزنه خواستید بیاین.
Our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called the Gnolls. These gnolls are all throughout the forest and Azure Span. They made this their home. Some gnolls is strange.
Oh shit! نژاد هوگر نولن اینا. ایول چرا باله؟ چه گرافیکی داره می‌بینی چند؟
In the winter area, and then some regular gnolls that are just going to be around the forest area. So then we go into the big open tundra where we meet our second group, the Tuskar.
It's going to be really neat to explore the culture a lot more.
چقدر ازوراسیه خوش
I
آمد.
absolutely love the Tuskar. Honestly, all my downtime is probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since you've seen them. We remember the Tuskar from Wrath of the Lich King. They're also getting a nice cool up-res for their models. along with expanding their culture. So there are going to be male Tuskar, female Tuskar kids. So we're going to fight alongside them, which includes help from certain group of dragons, the blue dragons.
Oh shit!
We're going to follow the story of Kalagos, our blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tour, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragosa's archives. It's a giant zone.
Sindragosa archives.
When we're done there, we head over to Aldraz's.
It's really incredible because we'll be going through some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when you get to Aldraz's, everything is perfectly intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 Dragonflights. And home of the dragons. It feels that way with the huge mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes. My favorite Dragonflight right now is the Bronze. They've got a really cool area in Aldraz's, and their magic is time. There's so many cool stories
Infinite Dragonflight!
So many cool game options, and we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player hub for the expansion, Valkyrie. It is a culmination of all of the dragons' efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you will see that the blue Dragonflight is hosting a public library, and the red and green Dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We also have some convenient services for players, including an auction house in the city, which will be really nice if you're looking for more exotic wares. The thing that really sold me on Aldraz's was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold. Oh yeah.
Wow. Tierhold.
This is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological marvel.
اگه نمیدونید تیر کیه برید تو یوتیوب من داستان کاتاکلیزم رو ببینید.
From the structure all the way to the city across the valley, and in the cinematic there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under them, splashes of water cresting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place and filled with so much history. Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And when they settled on the Dragon Isles, he built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago. And they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Lights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions, betrayals. Aspects have died. And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together. As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping. So much adventure happening on the Dragon Isles. As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
Oh shit!
I'm just excited to dive off the tops of towers and it's actually one of the things that we're about to learn about next.
Transfer Evoker.
Hi, I'm Jake. I'm Andy.
حالا کلاس chat
class نجات. To talk to you guys today about the Dragfear Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker but also dragon riding.
Class
which is our
Evoker.
Exciting expression into the
Haji Wallahi Haji Evoker man.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alexstrasza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jake. Okay. I know.
Fine. میگه نمیتونیم به اندازه الکسترازا بزرگش کنیم.
Dragfear created by Dragfear.
And
سایرن اینا ساخته بود. ترکیب قدرت همه اجدهاست مثل که. بعد میتونی انتخاب بکنی هورد یا الاینس باشی. نژاد دراکتیر.
What's unique about it is because the Dragfear are created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 Dragonflights.
Okay, هر قدرت هر 5 تا تایپ اجزا رو دارن. هر 5 تا رو.
We created a visual what we call a prismatic effect.
دوستان evocate نه
is
invoker.
basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre. So when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them.
I'll take that one. Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation,
mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with fire.
رد قرمزا اینجوری حالا بلو آبی فوکس میکنه چنل میکنه اوکی آبی
There's a healer spec called preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic. So
تمرکز هیلر روی سبز و برنز
dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to move faster.
So سریعتر هیل میشن. Animation, which all make you feel very powerful. I really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage or hit more targets depending on the spell.
Charge بکنی بیشتر میزنی. نکن. charge کرده جمع میکنه یوم
I think is feeling really good.
We have some great animations. Thank you.
Animation خیلی خفن دارن.
You feel physical when you're casting your spells.
فیزیکش رو حس میکنی.
Fly around the battlefield and cast while
توی بتلفیلد پرواز کنی.
It's great.
Death from above.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like
draconic.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
these
fire?
customizations?
Oh my goodness!
But no, they're really
they're
cool.
awesome.
Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid.
Humanoid.
The customizations of them are amazing.
What about color? Just tell me. Tell us about the color.
You can do a lot of matching. So your visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite, super favorite part of customization for the visage form, hair.
Yeah.
Because I can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The tech is here.
As
players make their way through each of the areas of the Dragon Isles, they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
Dragon riding.
As the players are holding their dragon riding skills, you're going to get to see all the animations that go along with the different look and feel.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
How to train your dragon WoW edition.
To show players a whole new set.
How to train dragon.
Completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity, like you were mentioning. We knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team. That combined with animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start getting velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity, which really adds to the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
What is to come جیلر هنوز نگفتن. شاید هم نگن نگه دارن واسه 10 سال آینده توضیح بدن.
Their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more. Definitely. Okay. We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights and bring on new, more difficult challenges.
We just have so many new, gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get in the game, play it with you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. It's gonna be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
UI changes! ببینیم UI جدید WoW. UI جدید WoW و talent جدید.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm
Brian.
We are very excited to share the final revamping
ability in a lot of areas, and on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay.
خب اقلیت باشن اکثریت باشن.
It looks bigger and
oh
the
shit minimap جدید ولش کن اینا رو ببینیم.
If you look at the
اوه UI رو ببینید UI عوض کردن کلا.
They have less head frames and it can really open up.
اوپنه بازیش آزاده اینقدر شلوغ بلوغ نیست.
And of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure get in the content. So nice now. And the Horde, don't worry, we got you.
Oh, Horde iconش فرق داره.
So let's talk about
Horde Alliance بغل ابیلیتیشن فرق
داره. Mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen. So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner.
چه داستانایی از فردا شب و امشب و پس فردا شب و اینا بگیم. چه خفن چه تمیز شده UI.
All things that I'll be able to do. Absolutely. And each of those different components will have various sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around a lot, as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
This is an ongoing project.
Okay, میتونی برای هر اسپک مثل کنم میتونی UI تو عوض بکنی، سیو بکنی، دیگه نیاز به ادامز
نداره. The project that we're excited about that we've been collaborating a lot on is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
It hadn't changed in a long time, like you said before, and we really started with how can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
انتخاب بیشتری داشته باشن توی
we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order.
Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options.
And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. But it's actually two trees. We have a class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role, whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back. There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these two trees because we feel like picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And so we want to make sure that when you choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role. It could be something from
talent class رو داریم هم talent spec رو داریم. Okay.
Part of that is encouraging players to perhaps make combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot more art and fantasy in the actual talent UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not at the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. You know, we want you to be able to make a lot of
خودتون انتخاب بکنید. چیزایی که دوست دارید وقت بذارید، کاستومایز کنید کلاستون.
Is coming back to the player. It's not something we want people to feel locked into. And so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents at the same kind of frequency that you do now.
That's so good,
Chad. The old school players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of those.
And that's a process we want to make
good, Blizzard. Thank you so much.
We're building a save load feature.
Oh shit, میتونی سیو بکنی مثلا talent برای میتی پلاس برای AOE سیوش بکنی بعد موقعی که مثلا میری تو باس فایت AOE اونو فعال کنی.
We've made all these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and hard on, and we're very excited about them. And it's just an early preview of the things we've been doing.
Early preview.
We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions in Dragonflight.
Professions! دوستان کارگر یه قلب برای خودتون بزنید قشره گل در بیاره جامعه ورلد of Warcraft ایران.
And I'm Eric, and we're going to talk about our plans for professions in Dragonflight. Professions have been a staple of World of Warcraft forever.
Professions!
We've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player, if that's what you want.
We really want to
Long live the farm!
Professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to our first update, something that we're calling crafting order.
بچه علامت تعجب تلگرام بزنید. تمام اطلاعاتی که ما ادمین تلگرام داریم همین الان داره تون پست‌های تلگرام رو میذاره. برید ببینید اگه دوست داشتید میتونید علامت تعجب اینستام بزنید. بعد اینکه استریم من از دست دادید علامت تعجب یوتیوب اگه بزنید من قرار کلی کلیپ در رابطه با این اکسپنشن و تولید محتوا و داستان و دیزاین و همه چی اینا رو میذارم یوتیوب. حتما یوتیوب رو
Or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this, you can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone through
public order,
or do you want to only send it to your guild? or to a specific other player. Maybe it's a friend you know will be able to craft the item really well for you.
If you are really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
One of the coolest things about this is the item you had crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession yourself. Now anyone can have them crafted for them, which is
الان همه میتونن آیتما رو بسازن
the number of items that we can provide that are really powerful because everyone can have them crafted.
همه میتونن کرافتش کنن. لازم نیست
Also really cool because it means as a crafter you can start building your client base. People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it or you always throw in a little something.
متریال داری ولی ورک نداری.
Leveling up your profession is going to be really great.
So the first time you go to craft, you're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
And we're doing a lot of new things.
quality بیشتر هم ازش بسازی. UI شو upgrade کردن می‌بینید دیگه.
Really special and unique.
که پروفشنال حس یونیک و خاص به دست بده.
Is the introduction of stats specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality is through crafting specializations. We've had crafting specializations in the past, as far back as original World of Warcraft. With Dragonflight, you can go out and earn specialization points in a whole bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith, and you might decide that first you want to become an armor smith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in a completely different path. So this means that your guild can have several top blacksmiths and everybody's providing something unique and valuable to the team.
That reminds me of another update. We're actually adding crafting tables to all the different crafting professions. We're going to take those and we're going to put them all in the main city of Valdrakken. And you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see all the different players crafting their items.
Yeah, it means you're going to walk into the city and you're going to see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're going to see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders, grabbing orders. There's going to be a whole crafting area.
احساس درستی باید به پلیر بده تو ادونچری
than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about though is the gear. We're introducing new types of gear for every profession.
type of gear جدید واسه چه خفنه.
You're actually going to just switch into that gear. It's going to be really great.
You're not going to have to carry that stuff around in your backpack anymore. There's actually going to be dedicated slots for each of your pieces of gear. But I'm a numbers guy. I love progressing. All pieces of profession gear will have those special stats.
Special stats داره واسه ورکرفت.
As you get your hands on better versions of gear, it's really going to help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
You've heard a lot about the content and changes coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
All right. Oh, fucking right, Chad. Was that it? Jesus, Chad! Okay. Okay. All right. بقیه‌اش تو سایت زده. نه مسلماً توی سایت ورلد آف وارکرفت زده. Okay. I'm speechless. نمیدونم چی بگم. Upcoming بذار ببینیم. بذار یه لحظه ووون رو نگاه بکنیم. تو رو خدا. وایسین. Jesus. دوستان تیر ستا رو ببینید. یا امام حسین. What the fuck? Why is so small? Woo! So good. So dragon. Key art. ببین الان شروع میشه محتوا کلاس ایووکر هم یه نگاه بندازیم بهش. وایسید اینقدر زیاده دیتا الان میاد همه رو باید تو تلگرام بذاریم. اوه شیت چت. هنوز محتوای خیلی ووود ارائه نداده. اوه شت چت اولی مولی چقدر خوشگله الکسترازا the queen خیلی خوبه سنتورا رو دوستان عزیز اگر در رابطه با داستان اژدها نمیدونید توی یوتیوب من یه پلیلیست دارم به اسم وو ستوری داستان کاتاکلیزم رو ببینید خیلی مهمه ببین این که در رابطه با کی حمله میکنه چی حمله میکنه اکسپنشن از راستیه بلیزارد میخواد آروم پیش بره و توی این توضیحاتی که داد گفت از راست قرار بیدار بشه و اژدها نیاز به کمک ما دارن و ما به اژدها قبلا اونا کمک کردن تمام انرژیشون رو دادن تو کاتاکلیزم حالا ما بهشون کمک میکنیم تو سرزمین باستانیشون دراگون آیل مسلما خیلی استوری و داستان داره ولی الان در واقع نمیتونم توی 2-3 دقیقه بهتون همه چیزاشو بگم که دشمنش کی میتونه باشه گالاکرون میتونه بیان برونز دراگون اینفینیت دراگون ها میتونه بیاره و همچنین با کمک اژدهاها که در واقع فرزندان اصلی از راسن ببینیم وات ایز تو کام چی میشه که جیلر ازش میترسید آروم میخوام بیلداپش کنن و احتمالاً این وات ایز تو کام دشمن چند ساله جهان وارکرفت بشه به نظرم از لحاظ گرافیک خیلی ایمپروو شده خیلی بهتر شده از لحاظ گرافیک من راضیم تکسچراش خیلی زیاده یه سری میگن دوستان انریل انجین و این چیزا نمیشه هیچ وقت وو انریل انجین بیاد به خاطر اینکه وو بازی اوپن ورلد و پر از افکته اون وقت باید برای هر مپ لودینگ بزنن اون وقت بازی میشه 1 ترابایت اصلا نمیشه وو خیلی دنیاش بزرگه و دوستان باور کنید گرافیک بازی ایراد بازی نیست همچنان بازی پر از چیزای خفن و گرافیک خیلی خفن داره هنوز دانجناشو نمیدونیم ریدشو نمیدونیم اطلاعاتشو نمیدونیم ولی من بهتون قول میدم این نسخه بترکونیه چیزایی که من ازش شنیدم چیزایی که من الان ازش دیدم همینجور تونتون مسلما ووود آپدیتشو میذاره تونتون ثانیه به ثانیه میذاره چیزایی که ازش دیدم من بهتون قول میدم پروفشن خیلی مهمه و اینا کاری کردن پروفشن جنرال بشه برای همه آزاد بشه یو آی رو کلا عوض کردن اینترفیس بازی رو عوض کردن خب اینا خیلی چیزای خفنیه کلاس جدید ایووکر آوردن نژاد جدید دراکنیک آوردن خب اینا چیزای خفنیه تالنت جدید تالنت رو ریورک کردن 2 مدل تالنت داریم تالنت مثلا فرض کن واریور تالنت واریور داریم بعد مثلا فیوری انتخاب میکنی تالنت فیوری داریم خب اینا چیزای خیلی خفنیه به نظر چیزای باحالیه و باید وایسید اطلاعات بیشتر بیاد و من هم مطالعه بیشتری بکنم و اطلاعات بیشتری بتونم بهتون ارائه بدم ولی اوورال جنرال بخوام بهتون بگم it's so good it feels so Azracian به نظرم خیلی حس ازراسی به آدم میده چون بلیزارد قول داد که ما برمیگردیم از راست و از این فضای کیهانی دور میشیم و دراگون آیل هم چیزی بود که خیلی وقت بود بلیزارد میخواستش بیاره ولی مسلما الان زوده بخوام بازم اطلاعات ازش باز خیلی آنچنان نداریم چیزای اصلیشو گفته و خدا رو شکر که در واقع سیستم پروگرشن مثلا مثل تورگاس و آرتیفکت ویپن و این چیزا نداریم و خدا رو شکر که ورک اومده جنرالی کرده به صورت اوپن باز کرده بچا قیمتش هم من نمیدونم چقدره هنوز قیمتش هم ندیدیم کلاس ایووکر هیرو کلاس استارت لول 58 نیو استارتر زون داره یه مپ جدید خودش داره میل میپوشه هیلر و رنج دی پی اس ریوامپ یو آی و پروفشنال تالنت داریم پروفشن ترانسموگ داریم دراگون رایدینگ این روندن اژدهای اسکیل جدید فلایه که فرق داره مانتا رو کاستومایز میتونیم بکنیم نژاد دراکنیک هنوز خیلی چیز هستش بخوان بلیزارد بهش اضافه بکنه و توضیح بده الان زوده جاجش کنیم به نظر من چیز خیلی خفنیه به نظر این به درد سلامت ورلد آف وارکرفت هم حسابی میخوره که هم یه کلاس جدید بیاد و هم یه نژاد نچرال بیاد دوستان عزیزم واقعا رسیدیم به دراگونز و جدای از اون بهتون بگم دوستان عزیزم من بالاخره تونستم به آرزوم برسم آرزوی من بود که بتونم برای 1000 نفر از ورلد آف وارکرفت بگم و تونستم به این قضیه برسم خود سایت وارکرفت هم آپدیت داده 100% داده 100% باید اینا رو بگیریم بررسی کنیم dragonflight.com بله بذار اینم یه لحظه باز کنیم بچه‌ها هم ببینن بتا اوپن اپ این ساین اپش بچه‌ها سه بتاشو ساین اپ بکنیم discover the dragon isle بیگ بد اویل فکر نکنم الان به ما چیزی معرفی بکنم ولی مسلما یه بیگ بد اویلی یعنی یه دشمنی خواهیم داشت ولی میخوان این رو ستاپ بکنن برای آینده جهان وارکرفت من مطمئنم که اون what is to come با کمک این اژدهاها باید در مقابل what is to come وایسیم، چون اژدهاها قدرتشون رو پس بگیرن. داستانش باید به این صورت باشه. و دوستان شاید شما نمیدونستید ما 5 مدل اژدها داریم، 5 تایپ اژدها داریم. اژدهای مشکی به رهبری نل سایرن، محافظان زمین دی ارث واردر. اژدهای سبز به رهبری یسرا د دریمر، محافظان رویای زمردین خواب از راست. اژدهای قرمز به رهبری الکسترازا د لایف بایندر، محافظان زندگی و هر آنچه میلوله در جهان از راست، هر آنچه زنده است در واقع. اژدهان آبی محافظان جادو اسپل ویور ملگس اسپکتشون بوده که الان کلگس اسپکتشه. محافظان جادو و شریانهای جادو در جهان از راستن. برونز دراگونفلایت محافظان زمان نوزرومو. و دوستان نوزرومو تبدیل به مرزان میشه. دوستان نوزرومو قرار دیوانه بشه. یو آی هم نشون میدم. این 5 دسته اژدها هستن و دوستان خیلی چیزای خفن. شاید اولدگادا برگردن، فعلا هنوز زوده در رابطه با داستان صحبت کردن. فقط بذار ببینم یو آی رو میتونم بهتون نشون بدم، اینو چیزی ازش وارد گوشه، چون اینا الان تازه دارن میخوان کم کم پستاشو بذارن. و دوستان اینم بهتون بگم وارکرفت کلاسیک هم داره میاد، راست اف د لیچ کینگ. او شیت اینم لوگوشه. چه لوگو قشنگی داره. آفرین قشنگه. سو دراگونینگ. آفرین. یو آیشو کاشکی میتونستم بهتون نشون بدم. چیزی از یو آی نداره بخوام بهتون نشون بدم. داره؟ پستی یعنی ووهد نذاشته از یو آی. میذارن تحمل کنین. بذار ببین داره. آفرین. یو آی بازی ناکن چجوری کردن؟ میبینید چند؟ بذار این اوپن نیو تاب بکنم. بذار خودم موو بدم. اینجا نگاه کنید. ساده، قشنگ، اینترفیس، مینی مپ بزرگ، کلین، سو کلین. این خوبه. این چیز خوبیه. یو آی و دیزاینش عوض کردن. آفرین بریزار. دراکنیک ایووکر. آفرین. به حال خیلی راضیم راستیتش. اوف اینا نکن. نول، توسکار، سو از راسین، سنتور، نول، توسکار، وایلد گادز، دراگونز، اورجین آف د دراگونز، شهر. اوف این ببین کاستومایز مانته منو کشته. این دایوی که میکنه اژدها هاو تو ترین دراگونه. چد خوبه راضی کننده است به نظر من. بابا اوف اینجا رو نگاه کن.